You know, it's funny listening to the bio, you never really know all the things you do, you just kind of go do them. But 1987 was a special year because I did lead the American League of Stolen Bases that year. And to kind of tell you the story behind it, kind of kick the night off and get me thinking here of some stuff to share with some of these young men here and use some of the adults as well. But 1987 was the only year in the 80s that Rickey Henderson did not win the stolen base title in the American League. He was stealing about 100, 115, 120 a year. And that particular season, he got hurt in May. And he had like 35 already in May. And I won that year with 60. So it came down to the last day of the season. And Willie Wilson, who was playing for the Kansas City Royals, had 59 stolen bases. I had 59. Last day of the year. This isn't text day. This is like ticker tape. You know? So I'm playing in Texas and he's home in Kansas City. So I steal a base, I think the second or third inning or something like that. So now I know I got 60. The news comes down about the 7th inning, 8th inning or so. Kansas City played a faster game. The game was over. Willie went 0 for 5. I won the stolen base title. So we're feeling pretty cool about it because it was the first offensive category that a Mariner ever won. You know, since things have changed since then with Rickey and everybody else, but it was pretty cool. So I get back home the next day and my phone rings. Now Rickey Henderson is one of my favorite people. I love Rickey, and I'm going to tell you some Rickey stories because Rickey's a character. Rickey always talks in the third person. You play cards with him, you go, Rickey got a good hand. Rickey getting ready to smoke you right here. That's how he talks. He'd be in the batter's box, I kid you not, and he'd stand there. One of my favorite Rickey stories. First time we went to the National League, they didn't know that Rickey always talks on the field constantly. When he was at second base, I'd be holding almost like a first baseman straddling the bag at first, and I'd be at second. And he said, Rickey, get ready to go. You can't stop, Rickey. Rickey going, Reynolds, Rickey going. And he'd take off and steal third. And when he get at the plate, he gets to the National League. A good friend of mine, Steve Decker, is the catcher for San Francisco. His first game. I said, Deck, man, you're going to have a blast when Rickey comes up there. He goes, why? Because he talks to himself to hold it back. And so his first at bat, Rickey gets to the plate. Umpire says hi. Deck says, how you doing? He said, Rickey good, Rickey good. So takes the first pitch. He sees a fastball. He goes, oh, that's all he got, Rick. Ooh, you're going to own this guy. That's all he got. And he's in the box going like this with his bat. Oh, that's all he got. So he goes through a few more pitches. Pretty soon he's seeing the curveball, seeing the changeup. He counts 2-2. He takes the third pitch, umpire, strike 3. Rickey turns around and looks at Decker. I kid you not. And the umpire goes, you still the man, Rick. You still the man. And I walk back. So you can only imagine, I'm sitting at home, I get this phone call. And Rickey says, 60 stolen bases. Now, I answer, hello? He goes, Henderson here. I said, hey, what's up, Rickey? I'm thinking he's calling, congratulate me. Stolen base title. Pretty cool. And he says, 60 stolen bases. You ought to be ashamed. Rickey has 60 at the break. That was my congrats from Rickey. So in my office at MLB Network, I have this poster. When he wrote the stolen base record, he's got this picture. He signed it for me. He wrote, you know, stolen base champ, Rickey. You know, so it's pretty funny. Last one, I'll tell you Rickey Henderson's story, then I'll get into a few more things. But I'm at the World Series in 2010 when the Cardinals win the series. And they're playing that one epic game against Texas where they came back that game 6. So before the game, Mark McGuire's the head coach for the Cardinals, Tony La Russa's the manager, and out of nowhere, McGuire's calling me over to the batting cage. And I used to call him Orange Crush all the time, see? Big red over here. You understand what I'm talking about. So I used to call Mark Orange Crush. I said, what's up, Crush? And he goes, Tony, you got to tell Harold the Rickey story. Now, you've probably heard all kinds of different Rickey Henderson stories, similar to what I've told. You never heard a story like this. So, Tony La Russa goes into the story about how they traded for Rickey Henderson in 1989. He came from the Yankees in '88, He started a career in Oakland, for you youngsters that don't know, and then he went to the Yankees, and the A's traded back for Rickey. By now he's a big, huge star. So he's from Oakland originally. He comes back, and in the newspapers, they lost the year before in '88 to the Dodgers. So '89, they felt like Rickey was the missing ingredient. So they make a trade, they get Rickey Henderson. Now La Russa says, I've never met Rickey, I reserve judgment, and I couldn't wait to meet him. Coached against him, managed against him, but I've never met him. So that morning, the newspapers are killing the A's for trading for Rickey. He's selfish, all he wants to do is steal bases, and crushing him. And the fans, they love him. They're excited for him to come back. So Rickey gets to the ballpark, he goes in to meet Tony La Russa. So anytime you get traded or whatever, you always go in to meet the manager and talk to the manager. Stand out here because I got to show you what happens. All right. So he goes in to talk to Tony. And Tony says, Rickey, welcome to the A's. And Rickey says, Rickey, team player. Rickey, team player. And Tony says, hey, that's great, Rickey. You know most of the guys. You played with them in all-star games. You know Canseco, you know McGuire, you know Lansford, you know everybody. Rickey, team player. He says, all right, that's great. He said, Rickey, see what the paper's saying about Rickey. Rickey, team player. And Tony says, all right, well, you're going to fit in great. He says, I don't know what to say. And then Rickey says, what do you do about the running game? And Tony says, well, you get on, you got the green light, you do your thing. That's why we traded for you. Still second, still third, score runs for us. He said, do you have anybody on the green light other than me, other than Rickey? He said, well, I only got two other guys, and everybody else I give signs to. He said, Rickey want to sign, because Rickey a team player. I said, well, you get the green light? No, Rickey want to sign, like a team player. He says, all right, our signs are real simple. He says, when I go to the ear, that's our hit and run. Go to the chest, that's the steal. Go to the belt, it's spun. Anytime it goes down the arms, that's the takeoff. Other than that, everything's hot. Rickey's like, got it, no problem. So the game starts that night, and Rickey walks on 4 pitches, and they're facing Jimmy Key. Now Jimmy Key had this nasty hang move, left-hander, hard to read. So La Russa's in the dugout, he knows Rickey's a team player, so he's got to give Rickey a sign. So he's like, he's not getting picked off on my watch. Coliseum's going crazy, Rickey's walked, they're all expecting to run. Well, La Russa's like, Jimmy Key's going to pick him off, and that's not going to be on me. So he turns to Latson, the third base coach, and he just goes like this. So Latson goes through a series of signs, and then he goes down his arms to take it off. Jimmy Key lifts his leg, there goes Rickey. He throws the first, throws the second, Rickey's safe. Crowd's going crazy, but La Russa's going, what's the deal? He said he's a team player. Rickey's dusting himself off. I'm sure he's talking to the middle infielders. Rickey stole that one. And so he's standing second. Latson, the third base box is right by the dugout because the dugout's on the third base side. Now La Russa has walked down by the third base coach and they're yelling at each other. He's like, I didn't give him anything. Don't touch any of the signs then. He doesn't know the signs. Quit touching them. I don't care if he's going down to take it off. Don't do anything. So a pitch goes by, and last one goes like this to Rickey. He said, and he turned to La Russa like, did you see that? I didn't touch one of the signs. I just did this. Nothing's on. Jimmy Key lifts his leg, there goes Rickey. Steals third, safe. Carney Lansford hits the sac fly, Rickey scores. Now the crowd's going crazy. And the players on the team, they have no idea about the meeting earlier. So La Russa is sitting there going, this guy stole 2 bases, knocked out a sign, he gives me this whole thing about he's a team player. He said, so I gave him a pitch or two and a batter, and then I walked down and said, hey, what was all that team player stuff you gave me? And he says, what you talking about? He said, you stole 2 bases, you didn't get 1 sign. He goes, Rickey got a sign. So I said, what did you see then? What's the sign, Rick? He said, I don't know. First time he went through all kinds of stuff. He touched everywhere. And then he went down the arms like that. You said when you go down the arms, that means take off. So Rickey took off.